Hello everyone, I'm TAPIWA here, the Global Student News Ambassador for Zimbabwe. I'm here giving my presentation on innovation is the only way. Innovation, the only way that is going to take us through this global development, this globalization, the only thing that is our hope of making the world a better place. My presentation outline goes on. We have the introduction, in the wrong hands, the other side of the coin, only one side, the only side, stepping stones, the big mountains moving, what we need, then the conclusion. So the world faces a lot of problems right now. We have an endless list of recurring and newly born problems that are arising each and every moment of us. If we look in all directions, north, east, west, south, there are different kinds of problems. If you turn on the news, you see problems after problems. It's a world full of problems. It's chaotic, it's a mess, there's a lot of things going wrong. There's climate change, there's global warming, there's overpopulation, there's imbalance of wealth. We have people with hundreds of billions of dollars, and at the same time we have people that can barely afford to have to afford the life of $1 per day. We have environmental depletion, we have pandemics. Right now we're in the middle of COVID-19. You have a resource exhaustion, like petroleum is depleting, coal and other minerals. There are tons and tons of problems. We have people, we have dictatorships, we have other different types of chaotic political situations, different types of protests each and every day. We have mass murderers, we have wars, we have conflicts. It's a mess. The world is chaotic. That's the best way to put it. It's actually an understatement. It's more than that. It's actually pathetic if we look at it. Now, the question is, are we in the wrong hands? The global trend is driven by these two main things. We have politicians and the media. The politicians, they are leaders of our nations. They rule, they set policies, they make us, they set laws, they are legislators, and they sort of represent people. I don't know the way, but that's politicians. Then we have the media that inform us. All the information we have, most of it, we got it from the media. All the news, that what's happening over there, we hear from journalists, from reading those newspapers, logging on to their websites, looking at their news channels. That's where we get the most of our information. So now, information, if you look at it, is actually more powerful than any other armament you can think of in this world. So if we have the most powerful weapon, that is information, and then we have the most powerful people, those that set laws, those that determine whether this one gets arrested or not. And then these are the two that are running the whole world. These are the two things, but who gave them that power? We gave them that, and they are the ones that run us. The media can run a narrative and everyone will go crazy about it. The politicians again can set certain policies and everyone will go crazy about it. And the two can actually manipulate each other. The media, the journalists, can run an agenda on the politicians that will affect the decisions of the politicians. At the same time, the politicians can also manipulate the media to spread certain agendas. So this is, if we have this type of a system, it is actually very, very flawed, because you have the two setup that can be manipulated, and who is manipulating behind this? They are actually humans. So, and you wonder, why are we in this chaos? You wonder, what is really causing this chaos? I think we already had the answer. We are in the wrong hands. The ones that are driving us, they are the reason why we have this chaos in the first place. Then On the other hand, we have science. Science is fact. Science tells you that the leaf is green because it has chlorophyll. There's no politician that can change that. There's not any journalist that can change that. It's a fact. If the earth weighs this much, if the temperature is 300 degrees Celsius, you cannot change that. It's a fact. That's what science is. So it cannot be manipulated. It cannot be changed. So why not make these invincible force leaders? Why not give ourselves for science to lead us into the new age of global transformation? Well, we have the other side of the coin. Now, in the science, we have innovation. Innovation is derived from science. It can be described as the practical implementation of ideas that result in the introduction of new products and services. One could argue innovation contributed immensely to the wretchedness of this planet, to the mess we are in right now. For example, like we have other many examples. The invention of combustion engines that has led to increased consumption of petroleum, and also led to the problem of emissions. And then on the other bigger complex argument against innovation, we had improved industrial processes. The Industrial Revolution, which began in Britain, it led to enhanced industrial processes and then increased energy consumption, because industrial processes, they consume energy. So increased coal burning consumption of petroleum products, and this has led to more carbon dioxide emissions, which is pretty true. And we have more resource consumption. More resource consumption has led to the scarcity of resources. For example, what led the European nations to end up colonizing the rest of the world was because of the scarcity of resources, the increased need of resources in their nations, which was caused by the Industrial Revolution, the improved industrial processes. And what is this caused? It has caused them to practice certain unethical ways because of desperation to acquire those resources. And if there's scarcity of resources, there's unsustainability, there's imbalance of how people live. And then we have the land degradation, which also causes more resource consumption, like the mining processes and the agricultural processes. They degrade the land, they cause siltation of rivers. We have also like a lot of areas that are now unlivable because of mining, that are now unsafe, that are tremors that are happening, that are caused for all this, and also more resource consumption. And also we have increased conflicts and also increased chaos due to that. And then we have the availability of goods and services, and which is actually a good thing, but also it is led to an increase in population. And then what is increased in population too, the land does not increase. If the surface area is 600,000 square meters, it doesn't change. But what changes is the population. If we continue the population density to increase, we have overpopulation. What does overpopulation does? Just unsustainability living, a scarcity for resources, which is causing all this imbalance in the world, and spread of diseases and other people dying because of unhealthy living. We have many problems that arise from overpopulation. Then also the other issue related to improved industrial processes, we have more synthetic products like plastics, like cosmetics, a lot of textile products, different types of things we can get from industrial processes. And these have a disposal of problems. Right now in the news, we have plastic problems. They are failing to properly dispose plastics. Some are disposing to the oceans, which is causing the death of thousands and thousands of marine organisms like fish. And if they dispose it to land, a lot of land organisms are also affected, so from this environmental pollution. And also we have, if we have more synthetic products, this will lead to more unwanted raw materials from these synthetic products. And then these unwanted raw materials, unsustainable raw materials, will lead to unwanted byproducts, and these byproducts also lead to environmental pollution. So, and then we have enhanced globalization, more resource consumption, and so there are many other modes in which innovation, it can be argued that it has contributed to the chaos of this world. Like, for example, the media. We have satellite technology, television technology, radio technology, which makes transfer of information easier, and also easier to drive the agendas. Right now you can hear what's happening in China in an instant, what's happening in Germany, what's happening in Brazil, or in a split second, because of improved telecommunication systems. This all can be argued against innovation, because because of this we have all these problems. Actually, there's only one side. This coin is only one side. It's a single side coin. The net direction innovation is taking us is forward. If no matter how many negative impacts we may try to imagine or to weigh, the positives are way bigger than the negatives. We cannot fail to contemplate or to imagine where the global or humanity would have been if innovation was non-existent. We would never have evolved, we would be extinct, because through innovation we managed to be able to use fires, we managed to develop tools for hunting, tools for gathering, then tools to build shelter, tools to build protection, and from there it has been developing. Even if we remove the innovation on the synthetic side, innovation is there in biology. If you look the human bodies, there are built in ways that they can adapt to different environment for protection. They are built in ways to support their systems from harm. They are built to adapt. If you go to the trees in the desert, they are different from trees in the equatorial regions. They're different from species in the savanna regions, because they are way suited for the type of environment, and that's actual innovation by nature. So nature is innovative, so is the synthetic phenomena. It also has to be innovative to survive this ever-changing world, because the world is always be changing. Even if we decide not to change, the world will always change, and if you don't innovate, you will die. The animals that failed to evolve will extinct. The species that fail to adapt to the present situation will die, will fade away. That's what it is. If we didn't innovate, we would have been long dead billions of years ago. So innovation always has one net direction, which is forward. So this one side we have so if the environment gets tough, innovation is the only way that will beat it. We learn it from biology, we learn it from our own evolution. So the problems that arise each day to threaten and strike humanity, innovation is the only thing that can turn these into stepping stones, that can turn this into magic. You see, there are people long back that couldn't realize that diamonds were really precious or even gold, but through innovation it is turned into a precious stone. So each and every menacing problem, through an innovative approach, it can be turned into a classy solution. What are these stepping stones? For example, we have mentioned the menacing environmental problems of waste. What are the example? We have a lot of plastic waste. It can be used to produce power in gasification plants. So this will, we have solved two problems in one strike. We have solved the problem of pollution, land occupation by waste, and also we've helped to redeem the burden on the power utilities for reliance on coal or other sources of power by adding another free source, which is solving another problem. So by innovation, so they say it is impossible to kill both two birds with one stone, but with innovation, that's what it's all about: killing two birds, three birds, five birds, a million birds with one strike of a stone. We have the other stepping stones which can be in the agricultural waste. We have the biomass coming from agriculture. This can also be used to produce power. This power will relieve the burdens of power utilities, which is also can reduce the cost of power to many societies, and also this can be reduce the burden on fossil fuels, which will also help solve that problem of global emissions which are leading to climate change. Then we have sewage waste. It can be bioprocessed into fuel. Then we have food waste that can either be used to produce power or to produce fuel. So we have different types of waste, like glass, ceramics, we have plastics, we have metals. They can all be recycled, and recycled solve a variety of problems. One which is waste problem, which is the waste problem, and also which reduces the less burdens on depleting resources. For example, bauxite, which is a depleting mineral resource. The burden on continuing to mining new bauxite can be solved if we just recycle the disposed aluminium. Then also this also help improve or increase the locally produced products, like for example, in other countries there's no bauxite for aluminium. Other countries don't have petroleum resources to produce plastics, but all those imported plastics ones that are disposed, we can actually create a new synthetic mine to recycle those materials, and also energy conserved, because the mining process consumes lots and lots and lots of energy. But if we can recycle the present resource, it is saved a lot of energy, because this had already been processed before. The plastic waste also can be used in the energy industry, as we mentioned before, through power generation, through fuel synthesis. Also textiles, we have a lot of clothes that are being made from plastics. Also in the construction materials, like bricks and pavers that are being made from plastic. We have other stepping stones that come in the form. We have biological waste. It can be agricultural or sewage. These have both solutions in the energy industry or in the construction. You have the biomass. The biomass ash can be used to make construction materials. The biomass can be used to make biofuels like biohydrogen, biogas. We have biomethane, bioethane, all those different types of. We have ethanol, which can be used for a variety of uses, including in the fuel in the energy industry. So these we also have sewage that can be used used to make fertilizer that can be processed also to produce fuel or solve the energy issues. So there are actually these problems. If you look in the other perspective, there are actual stepping stones that can be used to better off this planet. And then we have also the synthetic fertilizers, the organic fertilizers in the place of synthetic fertilizers. So there are different types of solutions that can arise from these so-called global problems. Only in innovative eye can see these things. We have the big mountains that must be climbed. When we look to global issues, there's three monstrous mountains in the form of energy. In the most parts of Africa, they are mammoth, they are serious power challenges. I, as an African, can be a testament to that. Power outages, power problems are just the normal. And also water. More than half of the global population don't have access to clean water. And then food, we have starvation that is trying to be solved in the vast areas of the globe. So there is a ready solution for all these problems, and it's clear for us to see. We are just ignoring it. It just thrives it doesn't do well in this current system that is led by politicians and the media. It needs to be given its free platform to manifest. The big problems are energy, where in most parts of Africa there are power challenges. Energy impacts each and every part. Energy impacts the whole universe. The whole universe was created from energy. Each and everything we do is affected or driven by energy. With no energy, there is no existence. And then you have water. We need access to clean water. Water means life. Without water, there's no life. And then but the polluted water can also be a source to various types of problems. So we need access to clean water. And then food. People need food to survive. And in many parts of the world, there's lots of starvation, which is a disaster. There's need for healthy food, for a healthy life. Another big problems is the environment. The environment where we live in. After we have energy, after we have water, after we have eaten our food, we live somewhere. We are placed somewhere. We are located somewhere. This somewhere is the environment that surrounds us. Our environment is what affects how we are going to behave. The environment affects whether we are going to have clean water. The environment affects whether we are going to have adequate power supply, whether we are going to have enough food. Because if the environment does not have good conditions for agriculture, there's going to be food problems. If the environment does not supply good resources for power production, then there is going to be power problems. If the environment does not provide the water resources that are needed, there's going to be water problems. So the environment is another big factor. So if which this environment has been destroyed there's been dominant outcry of the depleting environment because of climate change. We have droughts, we have increased in global temperature, we have pollution. But the activists and journalists are making strides to spread awareness about this issue. While this might not be wrong, it is not entirely the best approach. The news does not provide any solution. It only provides panic. We have a journalist is not a scientist. A journalist is not an engineer. A journalist is a journalist. So when we hear outcry about what is dominant, what is being led, what is being put forward ahead of everything of all. It's just outcry. There's environmental pollution, there's climate change, there's all those sorts of problems. These are just problems that are being presented. So why not reverse this? Why not say, instead of putting the media ahead to provide the problems that we're facing, and we put the solutions ahead of the problems, instead of the news that is spreading about the global mess of the environmental issues and other issues. Why not put forward the platform for innovators to provide the solutions? Why not give the full platform to innovation, to leaders, the science ahead, the research work that is being done? Because there's a lot of research, but investment is being done on the media. Why not invest more in this research and put them forward, put the scientists forward, put the innovators forward, so that they can lead us to the new global age? A dying cancer patient does not need more information about the worsening conditions, but rather the solution, but rather the new medication that is being presented to them to cure their solution. We're already aware that this world is messed up. We are now know that, but how is that made anything better? It's been taken since we've been told about climate change, but is it changing? It's been taken since we've been made aware about global warming, but is it getting any cooler? It's getting warmer and warmer, because this doesn't make anything better. It only makes things worse. It only spreads fear, not solutions. We need to put ahead the scientists that are going to show us the solutions. We need the solutions ahead, not the problems, because we are already facing the problems. So instead of parading about the worsening global situation, give the platform to those who are trying to save it. Not to journalists who just tell me that the water there is polluted. Give me an engineer who is brought a new method to treat that water for better use of the communities. Energy issues, that we need new energy sources, revolutionary energy systems, new energy generating principles, less energy consuming processes. These are going to solve the energy. So instead of crying about the worsening energy problems in the world, we need more of spread of these new solutions. We need more headlines about the solutions of the energy problems that we are facing right now. This is actually a better way of moving it. What on the water issue, instead of crying about billions of people that don't have access to clean water, how about we bring forward those this MIT Department of Chemical Engineering that is manufacturing new water treatment bottles. This other university in India that is invented this water cleaning process. Why not bring forward these headlines instead of the headlines of the problems we already know? We already know that we don't have access to clean water. We already know that we have old water treatment technologies. How about we bring forward the use of new water treatment methods, new water extraction components, modes to reduce wastage, new water systems? Those are the things we need to. The food problems. We here already know that we have children in Africa, in Asia, that are starving. But why keeping on making headlines of what we already know? We need to put forward those. We need news about new agricultural technologies, less climate dependence, new advanced processes that don't rely on climate, new modes of distribution of resources. We need advanced processing techniques for food production. In this environmental fiasco, This global, like I said, it's been decades since we've been hearing about the environmental problems, but this hasn't stopped the environment from depleting. If the train has lost its brake, if we continue crying about the train losing control, it's not going to stop the train from losing control. But if we put forth an engineer that is going to solve that problem, that is going to calm the situation down. So this same applies to these global issues. We're only putting forward the outcries. We are not putting forward the solutions. So we need the solutions of, if it is environmental problems, we need to have new use of the waste that is becoming a problem, new advanced socio-economic systems, improved clean energy sources, less polluting processes. These are the types of solutions. These are the types of news we need to hear. These are the types of awareness we need to be spread of. We need to be fed, not all the panic and the bad news. So, in conclusion, we have the wrong drivers to this global train, the politicians and the media. The solution is already there, but there's no platform. We look at there are thousands and thousands of research papers that are working on each and every global problem, but still the attention is being given to the problem and not to the solution of this problem. With innovation, everything becomes magical. Every problem becomes a solution. This menacing plastic waste can be turned into the black gold that is petroleum. To solve most of the global problems, millions if not billions of them, we do not have to directly tackle each of them. We need to use innovation to touch the big four: energy, water and food. Can solve all the billions of problems we have. It is not too late. Well, it might be, to restore the global order, but only innovation can take us ahead of time. The end of my presentation.